Hello everyone, I'm Ffxiv, and holy crap, I have a lot to talk about. I've just finished the MSQ for Stormblood, and it's been absolutely insane. People were telling me that, the story gets way better, it picks up, I wasn't, they're telling me it's like you're not prepared, you're whatever, all this stuff. They were right. They were right. like, I, I, I wasn't like, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be good. I believe you, it's gonna be good, but I didn't know how good. It gets so good at the end. It's amazing. But anyways, I want to get into this as quickly as possible. So if you haven't played through Stormblood and you don't want things to be spoiled, now would be the time to click off the video because there will be spoilers in this video. You have been warned. Now, with all that being said, these videos usually come out on Thursdays. If you would like to keep up with my MSQ progress and stuff like that, and just my journey through Final Fantasy XIV, go ahead and drop subscribe, like, all that stuff. And like I said, these videos come out usually on Thursdays. This one's coming out on a Friday. That's because it was a little bit delayed because I spent so much time working on my VTube character. This is what she looks like here. She's basically at the point now where she's ready for animation. I went for more of like a unique, like stylized look than anime because I just thought it would be interesting because nobody really does that. But anyways, that should be ready soon for live streaming the Stormblood MSQ, which I haven't been live streaming yet, but I would like to live stream the Shadowbringers, not Stormblood. I would like to live stream the Shadowbringers MSQ so that I can get more of this content out and stuff like that and share it with everybody. Now, for those people that don't like live streams, these videos will continue on. I'll still be making recaps and stuff like that and so on. So you won't be missing out. The content is going to be the same. Everything. I'm just going to add live streams to it. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so to start off, I really want to talk about Gosetsu and Yotsuyu because those characters were just so interesting. And Yotsuyu, like, I didn't really find her character that interesting. I just really hated her up until the very end when she became Tsuyu because she lost her memories. Uh, and Gosetsu was just one of my favorite characters in the game. Like, he was just great. Like, somebody in my comments a little while ago called him Goatsetsu, and he is the goat. Like, he was awesome. I love Gosetsu. But anyways, they ended up actually living through the collapse of the castle, and like I said, Yotsuyu lost all of her memories, and Gosetsu started calling her Tsuyu, and like her character, like I said, I hated her, but they ended up turning her into the one of the most sympathetic characters I've ever seen in a story. I felt so bad for her at the end, and it's amazing how they were able to make that switch, because when you first see Yotsuyu in the story, like the very first introduction you have is her basically forcing a young boy, a young man, I should say, to kill his, I think his friend, and then she tells him to kill his parents, and then when he refuses to do so, she kills him and his parents, and it's just like, wow, this person is just evil, evil. I hate this person. Like, I really, really want to take her out, and it's crazy because they take that character, like I said, and they turn her into one of the most sympathetic characters ever when she loses her memory and she becomes all childlike. And it's like, well, she doesn't know who she is. I don't feel right hating this person anymore. And I feel bad for her because everybody hates her and she's never going to have a normal life because of this, right? There's no way. There's no way to redemption, even if she doesn't remember, even though like it's crazy, and it makes you feel really bad for her because she does these really childish things. Like, she hears Gosetsu talk about how he liked these persimmons when he was younger, and she's like, I want to get Gosetsu a gift. So she sneaks out of the castle, or uh she sneaks out and she goes into one of the villages to get this persimmon, and obviously, like, everybody realizes that she snuck out. So Hyen and you and Yugiri, I think it was Yugiri, but Hyen and you run out and you start trying to find Tsuyu, and of course you find her hat. She's lost her hat, which she's been using to hide her face, but I don't think she realizes that she's actually hiding her face. It's more probably something that Gosetsu told her that she should wear. And she doesn't. She goes into this town and she's like, I would like to get a persimmon, and like everybody starts freaking out and like getting angry at her, and she's crying, and she doesn't really understand why they're so angry with her. And then she has like a flashback or whatever, and she's like, oh my god, did I really do that? Whatever it was, I don't remember what the flashback was, but she is like begging for forgiveness, and Hyen basically stops the crowd from ending her. and one of the little girls out in the crowd brings up one of the fruits that she was looking for, and she looks back at her brother, and it's like, can't you see she's terrified? Like, she's scared, right? Like, because obviously she's not the same person. And you're able to take her back to the castle, but on the way back, you're supposed to meet with her brother, who I hate so much that I don't even want to talk about, um, because like, he is just a bug. He is a lowly simp, and I hate him. Like, I hate him. I hate Acai more than any other character in the entire game, period. He is my least favorite person in the entire game. And if I was the Warrior of Light, the very first time that he said something snarky to me, the Warrior of Light, I would have ended him on the spot. Just done. John Wicked. I don't have time to listen to you. You killed my dog. Right? Like, that's how I feel about this guy. I hate him so much. And but you have a meeting with Acai because your Doma is negotiating with the Empire for peace at this point, right? At least that's what you think is going on, but it's really just a ploy by the Asians. Anyways, Acai's there, and he brings her parents, Tsuyu's parents, as a surprise to try and trigger her memories to come back so that she will go back with him, right? That's what his plan is. And it does trigger her memories to come back, but it causes her so much pain that in the moment, I think she went into like some sort of like shock, because all she wanted to do was take that persimmon back to Gosetsu. She didn't care about anything else. So she takes it back to Gosetsu and, peels it for him, gives it to him, takes care of him. She's, yeah, like I said, she's one of the most sympathetic characters. And then, later that day, or later that night, I should say, she sneaks out again, but this time she's sneaking out because she wants to kill herself. She wants to end it because she can't understand why somebody who basically should hate her very existence has been taking care of her and being so kind to her, and she can't live with that, so she's going to end herself. And she's basically says she will not suffer Gosetsu's kindness any longer, right? And right before she's about to do it, her parents, or her, I think step parents, whatever, adoptive parents, something like that, they come up from behind. They happen to be walking by, and they see her, and they start berating her and treating her like crap because they had like trafficked her when she was a child. Basically, she had the worst possible childhood you could possibly think of, which made her what she was. And then she ended up ending her parents, which made me really happy, right? I was so happy when she just offed her parents. And I thought it was kind of funny how, as the Warrior of Light, we show up and we see like her father like begging for help, and you just kind of look at him and it's like, you have like no care for this person because I guess like you kind of understand at that point what happened and who they were, and yeah, you're like, I don't care, just leave them there on the ground. And you find out, she left because Acai had showed up. She went with Acai back to whatever. And again, so the next day you're supposed to have this prisoner swap where, the Domans give back their Empire prisoners and the Empire gives back their Doman prisoners, and you trade them back. And of course, Acai's got this whole plan set up to trick Yotsuyu into summoning a primal, right? And she summons a primal, Tsukuyomi, who, and then obviously the Warrior of Light fights her back. And after you fight her back and, end Tsukuyomi, you very quickly find out that Yotsuyu wasn't tricked into summoning this primal, because basically the whole ploy was trick her into summoning a primal, say that it was a citizen of Doma that summoned a primal, and that the Domans can't be trusted, and that would be an excuse for the Empire to come back at a later date, basically to talk their people into come back and fight the Domans again, right? Because there's a lot of people in the Empire at this point that want peace, and this is a way to kind of trick them into not wanting peace. So, anyways, Acai comes back after you defeat him, and of course you just sit there and let him talk. I swear to God, I want to John Wick his ass. Stop letting these villains just elaborate on shit that doesn't matter. It's like, this person's going to die. He needs to die. Just do it. What he says doesn't change anything. There's nothing he could say, right? Like, he's just sitting there berating his sister while she's dying on the ground, and you just let her do it. And it's like, no, just smash his face into the ground, right? Like, I'm playing a monk, pummel his ass. Like, that's what I want, right? And I don't really care about it as much with most characters. I hate that character, though. Like, I really, really hate that character. I wouldn't have been able to restrain myself in real life with somebody like that. But anyways, so Yotsuyu, he thought he had tricked her into summoning the Primal, which ends basically the peace deal that was going to happen between Doma and the Imperials, or the Empire. But it wasn't a trick. She knew, and she wanted to use the strength of Tsukuyomi to end her brother, which she is able to do, and I was so happy that she did it, right? Even though I wish my character was the one to do it, I'm glad that she was the one that that did it, because in her final moments, she found peace. By ending her brother and her parents, the people that tormented her the most throughout her life, she found peace. And she was able to, I guess, in her own small way, die happy. Yeah, it's sad to talk about, but she found peace in the end. And I do think that this is the first time that you see blood in the game, because it drips down onto her hand in the cutscene as she's skewering her brother. I think that's the first time that you see actual blood. The first time was really when she stabbed her parents, and there was a little bit of blood on her father's cheek, but this is like the first time you see blood, and it was like dripping onto her hand. I'm pretty sure, at least. I'm not 100%, but that was the first time I noticed it, at least, and I've noticed specifically that they don't show any blood or wounds or anything like that. But this was the first time, and for me that was kind of significant, just because of it added to the impact of the moment a little bit. Yeah, but moving on a little bit. So you have the prisoner swap that still goes off, even though Asai's dead, and Alphino and the rest of everybody else has realized, hey, there's probably an Ascian in the working with the Garleans, because how else would they know how to summon this primal, right? Like, they don't just know how. The Ascians are the ones who are like spreading the word of how to summon primals to sow chaos throughout the world and stuff, because reasons. But that's you kind of realize that there has to be an Ascian there, and then you find out that Xenos is still alive, right? And it's like, oh, okay, well, Xenos is dead because we saw him end himself, and there's no way he could be there, so Xenos has to be an Ascian. And yeah, Alphino decides in that moment that he's going to go to the Empire with the Empire ship that's heading back with all the prisoners that were traded back, right? And give them information on how they can, defeat the Ascians and stuff like that. But on the way back, the ship that Alphino is shot down, and they land in this place called the Burn, which basically is just the Sahara Desert, but looks like it's hotter because it's so hot the sand is bleached. And it was one of my least favorite moments, just because you have to play as Alphino in that, and it's not just like a cutscene. I don't really like playing as the other heroes, right? So I don't like playing as Alphino. There's a part where you play as your Stola. There's a part where you play as Hyen in towards the end of Stormblood, and I really just didn't like it, because you get 4 abilities, and before you start playing, you have to like, okay, read this one, this one, this one, this one, and none of them really like work together very well, and you end up just spamming like the same button over and over again. Like I forget what Alpha Nose was like, but I know Ishtola had a dot and a main like attack, and the dot lasted like 20 seconds. So you sit there spamming. It's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and it's just over and over and over. And then it was the exact same thing with Hyan. It was just his main ability rotated 3 things. It was like a combo type thing where it's like you press 1, 1, 1, 1, and then he had a debuff on 2, so it was 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, and it was a 30-second debuff. So it was really 30 seconds of pressing 1 and then pressing 2, and it's really boring. I know they can't give you like a complex class or something like that to play them, but I'd rather just not play them at all if I had to pick. It's kind of a nitpicky thing. It doesn't really have to do with anything. I don't hate it, but it's just I would if I could choose not to, I would just not do it. And like even if they just wanted me to watch like an AI fight for like 5 minutes, I'd rather do that because then I could get up and go to the bathroom, come back, do whatever, instead of focusing on this thing where clearly like you're not meant to die because the other NPCs that are there will heal you and stuff, and it's almost impossible to fail. So, anyways, you crash land, Alpha Nose out. You find some of the survivors. You fight back the Empire, the Garleans are coming to kill you and the other Garleans that you were riding back with, because these are, I forget what they're called, but they're people that are like looking for peace. They're more like liberal characters and stuff like that. They'd rather have peace than war. So they shot them down intentionally, and they were gonna wipe you out as well. Obviously, they didn't even know Alphino was there. And as you're fighting them, this shadow hunter comes up over the hill, right? And he ends up saving you and the rest of the Garleans. And he's a Garlean himself, but at this point you don't know who he is. He comes back later, obviously, and you find out who he is, and he's actually a really, really important character. And for whatever reason, I can't remember his full name right now. I know he's referred to as the Black Wolf. I think it was Gaius, like Baron von Gaius or something like that. I'm probably like, if I'm getting his name correct, it's not on purpose. I think it's Gaius though. Anyways, he was the main like villain of A Realm Reborn, other than La Habrea, who he was the one like piloting the Ultima weapon and that big like climax at the end. Like that's who he was. So they brought him back. He ended up living through that big explosion, and it's like, holy shit, like this guy's still here. And he's a badass, by the way, because he's killed like 6 or 7 like Asians at this point, right? Like he's just wearing their masks like as a necklace, or he's got them hanging on his side. Dude's a badass. It's pretty cool. That was really cool to see. He saved Alphino. And then after this, like there's a whole bunch of politics that the Warrior of Light's going through. It's basically just gathering up like, or helping Doma coalesce into a bigger like alliance of like Doma and then the Azim Steppe and I'm forgetting the name of the pirates, basically creating their own Eorzean alliance, but it's the Doma alliance, right? So you create your alliance, and then you head back to Eorzea because Alamigo is being accepted into the Eorzean alliance, and Hyan goes with you. And while you're there, everybody starts hearing voices. At least the Scions, I should say. All the Scions start hearing voices and giving them massive headaches. And while this is happening, for the very first time, it happens during the meeting of like all the leaders to accept Alamigo into the Eorzean alliance. And Thancred he basically passes out and he doesn't wake up. You find out through a bunch of research and stuff that your souls are being ripped out of their bodies and they're going somewhere else, and you don't know where they're going at this point. It's very like worrisome because, I mean, what the hell's going on? It's similar to what Hydaelyn would do, but not everybody experiences what Hydaelyn would do. It was just the Warrior of Light. Yeah, so you where am I? Okay. I was getting a little sidetracked there. You start having these headaches and stuff, and people are like start dropping like flies. First it was Thancred, then I forget who the other 2 were next, but it was two others next, and then it was like Ishtola and someone else, and it basically just leaves the Warrior of Light and Alice who are the ones having these headaches, and you're the only ones that haven't like passed out, and it's like a perma pass out, right? Because your soul leaves your body, but the body's still alive. And yeah, after that, after everybody's like passed out, and you're like doing this research trying to find people, you still have to like take care of like normal business with the scions and stuff. So you end up going back to Doma to help Hyen do the ultimate orange man bad thing. Uh, he pulls off what Donald Trump wishes he could have and builds a 5,000 yalm tall wall. I didn't realize that was going to rhyme, but he builds basically puts up a massive like projected barrier, um, the ultimate Trump wall, right, to keep out the Empire. And obviously the Empire can go around it, but they can't, because they can't get around without refueling, because they had just burned down one of their cities or whatever that they used to refuel. It's like it's a whole bunch of like politics stuff. But anyways, right as you put the wall up, there's a Garlean vessel flying towards the wall, and obviously it hits it, and it lands, and who walks out? But the Black Wolf, was it? I'm forgetting his name now again. Gaius. He walks out, and he's carrying Alphino, because Alphino had gone off with him, because it was pretty obvious that he was killing Ascians, and Alphino wanted to learn more about what he was doing, because it's Alphino, right? And during this exchange or whatever, he's carrying Alphino back. Obviously, Ffxiv freaks out because she sees Alphino, and he's passed out because he was having those headaches as well, and he's perma passed out now. And this guy Gaius or whatever was bringing him back, and I'm gonna feel really bad if I'm saying his name wrong. I feel stupid just saying it. I want to take the time to look it up, but I'm letting the thoughts flow right now. Anyways, he brings Alphino back, and the Warrior of Light sees him, and it's like the Warrior of Light recognizes who he was, even though you've never seen his face. Nobody really ever has seen his face, even in other people in the Empire. They hadn't seen his face, but brings him back, and you kind of get to learn who he is that way. And that was really cool. I know we're gonna get to see more of him. I can't wait to see more of him. Like, I really want to see them develop his character more than just the main villain of A Realm Reborn, because his villainous character in A Realm Reborn was kind of boring. I didn't find him super interesting just because of his actions and stuff like that, but and his motivations. But this guy seems way more interesting. This version of him, really interesting. I can't wait to see what they do with him. But yeah, so you do that, then you head back to Alamigo, because there's a buildup of like Imperial soldiers. They're getting ready to attack Alamigo, to try and take it back or whatever. And yeah, so you head back there, and Alice, you have a headache, and of course she passes out. And not long after that, the war starts or whatever. Then right before you're gonna go fight, you get another headache, and you hear voices again, and it's like obviously one of the worst ones for the Warrior of Light. Like, it's getting worse and worse progressively each time you have one, and you have to go fight anyways, because your friends are out there fighting. And this is another thing I didn't like, or another moment I didn't like that much, but your friends are out there fighting. So the Warrior of Light obviously has to go try and save them, because Xenos has taken the battlefield again. And by this point, everybody kind of realizes that Xenos is actually an Ascian, and not the real Xenos. And you also, like, by this point, you've realized that the Empire is completely run by Ascians. It was founded by an Ascian. Like, there's Ascians everywhere, all over. Well, there's only two of them, really, that we know of. But anyways, there's two of them that mainly are running the Empire. And yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that the Empire was founded by Ascians. Like, it's just such a big twist. But like I said, there's too much to really go over. Anyways, Xenos is back on the battlefield, and the Hyen and a group of, and Ugidi and a couple other people are fighting him. And this is the point where you play as Hyen, and like I said, it was boring, because you sit there and you press 2, 1, 1, 1, 1 for 30 seconds, then you press 2 again, and then you press 1, 1, 1 again. It wasn't my favorite thing to do. I found it kind of boring. I kind of I hope they don't do it too much in Shadowbringers, but I have no idea. Obviously, we'll see how that goes, but it's not bad. It's just not my favorite thing. Um, okay, so the Warrior of Light is headed out to fight Xenos, and you fight Xenos, you win the fight, and he instantly just like pops back up like a mummy, resurrects instantly, blasts you back, and as he's walking up to you, you're ready to fight him again and take him out again, and right then you have the worst headache ever, and you hear the voice again, and your soul gets ripped from your body, and everything goes black right as you're about to get sliced by Xenos, and you poof into this world, and it's like, well, what is this place, right? It looks like it looks like when you first start collecting crystals in A Realm Reborn, and you have like every time you get a new crystal, it shows like this little cutscene where the crystal like is put in this circle around you, and then the light goes towards your character, and it's like slowly powering you up more and more. It kind of reminds me of that place, but it's different, and obviously there's no crystals there, and there's someone there who I don't know his name. I don't know anything about him. I don't know what he is or why he's there or what's going on. He's talking about throwing open the gates, and like the path that we're on is a bad path, and it's going to lead to the destruction of the world no matter what we do. And it's like, okay, uh, I need to know what's going on now. I spent all this time getting through Stormblood and working on this VTube stuff so that I can get to start streaming. And now I'm at the point where it's like, I want to go do Shadowbringers. I really, really want to go do it. I want to go do it right now, but I'm not ready to like do live streaming stuff. I haven't completely finished everything. So I'm going to have to wait a little bit to even start. I'm probably going to end up leveling like another job or something. There's a couple of them I've been interested in, but it's like, I'm so hyped for Shadowbringers. Like, so hyped. I'm so excited right now. They set this up so good going into Shadowbringers. Big time. Like, it's amazing. And of course, right towards the end, you end up finding out that Estinian, he just flies in and saves you because he does that now. Whenever you need him and you don't know you need him, he goes and blows up the cannon, and then he comes in and saves you. Like, he's just there following you around, watching you, making sure you're safe. I don't know. I love Estinian. I really hope they do more with him soon because he's like one of my favorite characters. Just flat out. But then after you find that out or whatever, it's like there's this little cutscene where they show this guy that's dressed up in one of the Alamegan soldiers like uniforms, and his face is hidden, and as he slowly looks up, you see he has the eyes of the copied Echo, and I had suspicions the first time I saw him because they showed you once before. Instantly I was like, that's him. That's Xenos. He is actually alive. So there's the imposter, Xenos, and we thought that the Ascian like took his body as host, but that's not what happened. I guess he copied him. They have cloning technology. Maybe they cloned him. I don't know exactly what happened, but something like the Ascians have him somehow. They have his form somehow, but he is still out there. Because he turns around and he like blasts this Imperial soldier with one slice, and it's like, yeah, that's him. That's 100% Xenos, and I'm so hyped to see what they do with that guy. I'm so happy they brought him back because I think they brought him back. I don't know. I love his character though. I know a lot of people don't like his character. They think he's like one-dimensional, but I really like evil characters that are evil for the sake of being evil. It's because it's fun for them. It's like, the Joker said, it's like some people just want to watch the world burn. And that's kind of the feeling I got from Xenos. But he had like a weird sort of like honor about him as well. I really liked his character as a villain. And yeah, anyways, so that was kind of where I'm at right now. The stories come to an end for the most part. Like I said, I'm sitting here at Tataru, ready to pick that quest up, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to touch it until I can live stream. So I'm going to be getting that set up here as quickly as possible because I really, really want to do Shadowbringers. I'm so hyped. But But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's my recap of where I am. I know it took me 3 videos to get through this with Stormblood. It shouldn't have taken as many, but I think it kind of makes sense because Stormblood was kind of broken up into 3 parts because you had the Doman front of the war, and then you had the Alamegan front of the war, and then it was everything after that. And it's just been, yeah, it kind of was 3 part story. As far as like story, like I would rank the story like right up there with heavensward. Like I think I gave heavensward like a 9.5 story wise. Like it was just amazing. And Stormblood for me, like leading up to the end, was probably like a solid 9. Maybe like a little bit more, close to 9.5, because I really like the story when it's like more grounded and the story is about the world rather than just one person, because you get so much character development that way. And I just really loved the story of Stormblood. After the end though, like, and going into Shadowbringers, like it's probably better for me than Heavensward even. I know that people are gonna like really disagree with that heavily, but I do like Stormblood a little bit more than I did Heavensward. I don't know why. Like it's just kind of how it is. I'm not like super into the high fantasy like a lot of people are. Um, but yeah, like I guess I would give it like a 9.6, 9.7, just barely more than Heavensward, because again, it was more about the development of the world than just the Warrior of Light, and uh then yeah, it was focused more on like character based politics and interpersonal relationships and stuff like that. I really liked it. I loved it. So yeah, really looking forward to Shadowbringers. So before I keep rambling, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been absolutely amazing sharing this journey with everybody. I really appreciate everybody who watches, and make sure you like, subscribe, do all those things. And I will see you in the next one.